Taichung issues 163 fines for noise violation in first 8 months of new policy.
Taichung has issued over 160 fines for noise violations in the first 8 months of a new policy limiting unreasonable noise at night. The regulation primarily applies to modified and overly loud cars. From January to August, police in the city issued fines worth over 540,000 NT in total. The city says it hopes to provide Taichung residents with a more comfortable and peaceful living atmosphere. Police urge drivers to avoid breaking the law in order to not be fined.
Expected tropical storm Paipa won't affect Taiwan.
Meteorologists say Tropical Storm Paipa is expected to form tomorrow at the earliest, moving northwest before turning north. Approaching Kyushu and sweeping across mainland Japan, that storm is not expected to affect Taiwan. However, experts add that mountainous areas and some lowland regions of Taiwan can still expect afternoon thunderstorms. With a possibility of heavy rain, flash floods, and hail. Also today and tomorrow, temperatures will be on the warmer side. But Friday and Saturday may get up to 37 or 38 degrees.
Guinness World Records invites people to attempt unique records.
If you have some spare time on your hands this weekend, maybe try for a world record. Guinness World Records is inviting regular people to try for unique records to mark the organization's 70th anniversary. They're offering unclaimed titles and an online quiz to match personalities with potential options. Some of the choices include most eggs stacked in a minute or farthest distance bottle flip. There's also a list of 70 unclaimed titles, like fastest burrito making or most anchovies eaten in a minute. The Guinness Book of World Records, first published in 1955, has become an international phenomenon, selling 155 million copies. It embraces all kinds of achievements, as long as they're meaningful and interesting.
Lu Shuyan determines not to run. Former Sec-Gen.
The former Secretary General of the KMT says Taichung Mayor Lu Shuyan is determined to not run for party chair. Li Qianlong said that he would no longer try to convince her to run. He added that former Taipei Mayor Hao Longbing, who hasn't officially announced his candidacy, would be a good option. Current KMT chair Eric Chu announced after the August 23 recall vote that he'll soon step down and designated Lu as the successor. Lu has since reiterated several times that she plans to focus on her city's affairs. So far, 7 people have expressed interests in the office, with KMT lawmaker Lu Zhiqiang as the most well-known one. Meanwhile, Deputy Legislative Speaker Johnny Jiang said that whoever becomes chair should be prepared to lead the KMT to victory in 2026 and 2028. The election for KMT chair is set for October 18th, with registrations scheduled for later this month.
Taiwan Railways tickets for Mid-Autumn Festival, selling fast.
Taiwan Railways says ticket sales are brisk for the upcoming Mid-Autumn Festival long weekend. As of 10 a.m. today, more than 129,000 tickets had already been booked since sales launched at midnight. Despite the rush, seats are still available on some popular routes, including Taipei to Hualien and Taidong, particularly outside peak hours. TRC said it's adding over 100 extra trains between October 3rd and 7th to handle demand. Officials remind passengers that tickets must be collected within 2 days of booking, or they'll be released back into the system. In addition, real name trains on October 3rd, 4th, and 6th will open for booking tonight at midnight, restricted to residents of Hualien and Taitung, as well as their immediate family members.
Taiwan shares.
Asian shares are mostly declining, echoing a fall on Wall Street, as political uncertainty took center stage in Japan, making for cautious trading on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. In Taiwan, the TAIEX bucked the trend and rose 83 points to end the session at 24,100. But turnover was thin, at 365.7 billion NT. APML Syria Nuclear Program. First LD, right through.
APML Syria Nuclear Program. First LD, right through.
The UN nuclear watchdog says it found traces of uranium at a site in Syria. The location is believed to be linked to the suspected clandestine nuclear program under Syria's former president Bashar Assad. The International Atomic Energy Agency took samples last year at 3 locations related to the Deir el-Zor site that was destroyed by Israeli airstrikes in 2007. IAEA Director General Rafael Mariano Grossi presented the findings to the agency's board Monday. Syria's new government has agreed to cooperate with the IAEA, allowing further inspections and sample collection. A number of other countries in the region are pursuing nuclear energy in some form as well. Taichung issues 163 fines for noise violation in first 8 months of new.
How Long Bin on September 3rd, Armed Forces Day.
Former Taipei Mayor Hao Longbin says his late father, former Premier Hao Bo-kun, had always firmly refused China's invitations for joining the September 3rd military parades. Hao Bo-kun also tried to persuade his fellow military officers not to go, making it clear that the credit for winning the 8-year Sino-Japanese War belongs to the Republic of China and must not be misplaced, confused, or distorted. He had a long and illustrious military career and served as chief aide to former President Chiang Kai-shek from 1965 to 1970, before leaving the military to become premier in 1990. In an interview with BBC Chinese, Hao Bo-chun had pointed out that Beijing's official war propaganda was wrong by calling the KMT and the Communist Party the backbone of the war against Japan. He said at the time that the 8-year war of resistance was led solely by Chiang Kai-shek, and that there was no second leader. Hao Longbin's remarks came as China held a large military parade in Beijing to mark the 80th anniversary of victory in the war against Japan.
Taipei Sports Day public gyms offer free entry.
Taipei is celebrating National Sports Day on September 9th by offering free entry to gyms and pools at all 12 of its sports centers. The city's Department of Sports announced a series of events to encourage people to get active, including free access to gyms and pools for that day, as well as discounts on personal training or sports equipment. Visitors may also enjoy free use of certain venues like tennis courts and batting cages at some facilities. The city is also promoting a walking challenge at the Taipei Zoo, where city residents can earn U-coins by walking designated trails. And on September 13th, the city will hold a sports carnival with family-friendly events and activities.
China's guests at military parade draw attention.
In world news, Chinese President Xi Jinping has hosted a military parade in Beijing to mark the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. Leaders from about 24 countries attended, including Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Their presence is seen as a show of unity against the United States. Leaders from the US, Western Europe, Japan, South Korea, and India were absent, but Xi's guest list highlighted Beijing's growing influence in the global South and emerging economies. Other attendees included leaders from Iran, Belarus, Indonesia, and several African and Asian nations. The guest list had heavy overlap with the annual summit of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization days earlier, but there were some notable departures before the parade, including representatives from India and Turkey. Lu Xiuyan determined not to run, former Sec-Gen.
National Day celebration preparations entering final stage.
Legislative Speaker Han Kuo-yu says preparations for this year's National Day celebrations are entering the final stage. Han chaired a planning committee meeting today, promising that this year's events will match or surpass the scale and color of last year's. A National Day concert will be held at Taichung's Fulfillment Amphitheater for the first time in 8 years. While the fireworks show will debut in Nantou along the Malua River, Han said the display is expected to draw hundreds of thousands of visitors and boost local tourism. He expressed confidence the festivities will inspire citizens, overseas Taiwanese, and international friends.
Taiwan welcomes more tourists in first half of year.
Taiwan welcomed almost 4.2 million international visitors in the first half of this year, up about 10% from the same period last year. The Tourism Administration says June alone saw over 600,000 arrivals, up over 6% from last year. Japan led growth, with more than 92,000 visitors, an increase of nearly 22%. while arrivals from Hong Kong and South Korea slipped, partly due to earthquake rumors and political uncertainty during South Korea's presidential election. Meanwhile, visitors from mainland China nearly doubled, boosted by mini 3-links travel to outlying islands like Kinmen and Matsu. On the outbound side, more than 9.14 million Taiwanese traveled abroad in the first 6 months, up 11% from last year, with Japan remaining the top destination, followed by mainland China and South Korea.
Taipei celebrates Little League World Series victory with parade.
Taipei is celebrating the Dongyan Elementary School Little League team with a victory parade after the young athletes took home the gold at the Little League World Series. Mayor Chung Wan-an praised the team as the pride of Taipei and says they will parade through the streets of Taipei, on board a double-decker bus this Sunday. Chang also says he made good on a promise to treat the team to a victory dinner earlier this week, with the athletes dining on a meal of Wagyu steak, seafood, and burgers. The players and coaches also received a special pass for 1 year of free MRT rides. The city's Department of Education says the mayor has also approved special funding and a new scholarship program to help top players continue their development.
Putin and Kim hold talks in Beijing.
In international news, Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un held bilateral talks in Beijing Wednesday. The two leaders met formally at the Diaoyutai State Guest House after attending a major military parade in the heart of the Chinese capital, marking the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. The Kremlin says Putin and Kim traveled from a formal reception to the negotiations in the same car. UN drones drop grenades near peacekeepers in Lebanon.
UN drones drop grenades near peacekeepers in Lebanon.
The UN peacekeeping force in southern Lebanon says Israeli drones have dropped 4 grenades close to UN peacekeepers deployed in South Lebanon, near the border with Israel, as they were working to clear roadblocks. No one was hurt in the attack Tuesday morning local time. The peacekeeping force, known as UNIFIL, said in a statement Wednesday that the incident a day earlier was one of the most serious attacks on UNIFIL personnel and assets since the cessation of hostilities in November that ended the 14-month Israel-Hezbollah war. There was no immediate comment from the Israeli military. How long been on September 3rd, Armed Forces Day?
MOL plans to increase maternity benefits to boost birth rate.
The Ministry of Labor says it's drafting details of a plan to boost maternity benefits for workers as part of efforts to counter Taiwan's falling birth rate. Budget documents for next year have already set aside more than 3 billion NT dollars for a new subsidy program, in addition to the existing 3.8 billion NT dollars allocated for parental leave payments. Officials say the extra funding could go toward higher maternity payouts, though specifics are still being finalized. Under current rules, insured female workers can claim maternity benefits equal to 2 months of their insured salary. Last year, more than 7.5 billion NT were paid out across over 105,000 cases. The Labor Ministry says details of the expanded program will be announced once planning is complete.
DPP lawmakers to discuss Taiwan-Japan undersea cable security with Japanese.
DPP lawmakers and Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party counterparts have discussed ways to cooperate on undersea cable security during talks earlier in the day. DPP legislator Guo Wen.
Taiwan's high-end tourism booming.
Taiwan's high-end tourism market is booming, with analysts estimating its value last year at between $100 and $150 billion. Industry figures show strong demand for luxury and adventure travel, including Antarctic cruises, where nearly 60% of participants are women, many of them traveling solo to fulfill a lifelong dream. Tour operators note that travelers in their 50s and 60s make up the largest share of this market, and 2/3 are still in the workforce, eager to take long-haul trips while they can. Companies also report strong growth in European itineraries lasting over 12 days, as well as themed journeys like Northern Lights tours and Spain's Camino de Santiago, both seeing sharp increases since the pandemic.
Protected goshawk freed after flying into city council building.
Protected bird of prey has been safely captured and will soon be freed after it accidentally flew into a government building in Taipei. The city's Animal Protection Office says it received a call yesterday about a raptor stuck in a stairwell and sent in teams to help. The crested goshawk was captured and determined to be in good health. The office says it will be released back into the wild soon. Officials say these goshawks originally lived in the mountains, but have adapted to the city. The Animal Protection Office is reminding the public to avoid handling a wild animal on their own and to call the 1959 Animal Protection Hotline for assistance instead.